So we've covered what you want, why you want it, what limitations you have. Now let's talk about the how, right? That's what everybody really likes to lead with. How? But the how. Uh, you know, how will achieving what you want positively affect you and others? Just kind of how I would ask a question with your question of how. So flip the switch, right? Because how I would do it is going to vary from how you would do it. And I truly believe that all my clients know how to do it. Just by me providing you, for instance, on the weight loss spectrum, for about a year, I offered a program that gave nutrition, right? A plan. A nutritionist was actually overseeing my work. It was on a platform. It was really beautiful, but we would pre-program a meal plan. I did this for about a year. It was not cost prohibitive. Because I had to have a nutritionist oversee everything I did, it cost a lot, and I wasn't able to charge enough. Anyways, long story short, I don't do it anymore, and I can't with my credentials anymore. But most people didn't even follow through with it. Like they just kind of generally glazed over it, but didn't follow through, because what I would do is going to vary, right? Food is a great example. Food is, very subjective to the individual. There are people that have intolerances, sensitivities, preferences, access, financial ability, texture issues, just so many different variations. And then, the challenges with family and time and everything else. So how I would do it would be very different. Same with workouts. For a year, I programmed workouts on an app, and it was fun, and a lot of labor went involved in it, but the follow through really lacked. I had a couple of clients that seemingly did really well with it. But again, how I would do it is not going to be how you would do it. And we all have uniqueness. Same with fitness, limitations, access to equipment. There were so many variables that made it very convoluted, very time consuming, very, it was just a lot. It was really heavy. And so the how I truly have noticed and realized, and came to that realization when I did that a few years back, this was before COVID, that I realized that you guys know what to do. You already know what to do. So it's not about the how. I think what it really amounts to is this quote that I pulled that I think really kind of sums it up. A rising tide lifts all boats. Now, I get that quote, if you Google it or if you've heard that quote before, it has nothing to do with goals and fitness and everything else. But I do believe it falls suit to what I'm pointing to. When we really understand what it is that we want, really deeply understand the why, we have solutions to all the limitations and barriers. The how just becomes very clear. And when we improve in one area of our life, all areas will be impacted in a positive way. So that's kind of what I want to lead with on this video is, when one area improves, all areas are going to improve. It overflows in all aspects of your life. But after years of being a coach and really going through my own journey, which has been incredibly unique, I know that when I accomplish goals, when I achieve something, when I get to the next level or get deeper, whatever it is that I'm working on, my outcomes with my outcomes, when I know that I've accomplished something, or I've grown or learned or stretched myself and got to a new level, I become more confident. My self-esteem increases. It creates a new outlook on my life as well. So some people will compliment me on being incredibly confident, and have this pep in my step and this, this beautiful energy around me. And it's taken work to get there. Building on that sense of purpose. And you kind of get this idea or this feeling that you have control, right? And I think a lot of when I say, you realize you have control, it's you let go of needing to control things that are outside of your control. So I want to clarify that. But I also do have a sense of a lot more control. I have a sense that the world is not against me. Right? So I keep accomplishing more, I keep learning, I keep growing, I keep stretching myself, and I hit my ceiling every so often. But I have people that I've hired that I trust, mentors, trainers, and coaches that know how to help me, guide me, walk with me to get unstuck. But overall, I feel like a better person each and every time I stretch myself. But think about it, if you've had a history of not following through, even on the small things that you commit to for yourself, right? So when you don't follow through with these commitments that you hold to yourself, even if it's just on a daily basis, you're like, oh, today I'm going to eat healthy, and you don't follow through with that commitment, what does that do to your confidence, your self-esteem? What does it do to the thoughts and the feelings and the actions when you're setting out to pursue another goal or have a thought of starting a new goal or starting a new habit or changing something? Right? If you're not showing up and if you're not holding your commitments and honoring your commitments to yourself, even the small ones, you're going to low-key have this thought and feeling and energy that you won't follow through. It's not attainable. It's not possible. Like, oh, you're going to just fade out again, fall off track. I'm frequently hired to help clients become happier. And I once believed, and many others believe this to be true, is happiness is a destination. Happiness is an acquiring of certain things. That happiness is in a place, things that you buy, things that you meet, or goals that you meet, or things that you win, or things that you achieve, things that are maybe like a status in your career or your job, a certain job or role or level in your life. Maybe it's picture perfect. Maybe it's that white picket fence. But happiness isn't a destination. I truly once thought that. At the very beginning of my journey, I really, really thought it was a destination. But what it really is starting a journey, a discovery. Thinking of it as exciting and fun and an adventure, right? So at one point at the beginning of my journey, I had everything, right? All the things I just named off, the money, the fame, the fashion, the cars, the possessions, the house, the family. But at the beginning of my journey, I was at my lowest. And so just to be clear, in this course, because this is a free course that you're watching, the how is not going to be outlined on how to achieve happiness. That's something I work intimately with each individual, because each individual's happiness is something that we articulate and formulate and actually accomplish one-on-one. So that's something that's done in coaching. I do have a program that's designed and prepared. I just haven't launched it yet. That kind of gives the in-depth of how to, but it won't be free. Sorry. But what I would like to say is achieving a goal, achieving small little goals one at a time, smashing goals, crossing over finish lines, crossing off the to-do list, overcoming obstacles, stretching yourself, right? Beating all the odds that are against you and gaining a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment gives you a tremendous amount of confidence and self-esteem. It just propels you forward into what's next, right? So the how is not really relevant. I reflect back on my journey now and see how when I prioritize myself, right? So I myself was probably in position 25 on the to-do list. Like it was that way for most of my life. It's what I learned, right? So it was conditioned in me. But when I learned to help myself first, prioritize myself, put my oxygen mask on first, putting my health, my happiness, and what matters most to me, putting my feelings first, my life changed. I witnessed myself firsthand how when I feel good, when my health is prioritized, when I prioritize my sleep, my hydration, I read, learn, stretch myself every single day. I work out in some fashion or form, moving my body, eating healthy, and showing up as the best version of myself, right? Showing up as the best mom, showing up as the best possible friend, wife, coach, etc. I'm able to be fully present with the people that I love. I'm able to give them 110% of me. I'm able to give them the energy and attention that they really deserve. I come from an energy of we versus poor me. Right? When I put myself as a priority as number 25, I kind of drift into that victim mentality, this poor me, and you're not going to believe the world did to me today, and all these things happened to me. When I prioritize myself, it's very much about, look at what I learned today. Look how I grew today. I take responsibility for my life. Again, it's having this sense of control again. I'm able to make decisions from a healthy mindset, a healthy foundation, versus being in this reactive mode where I used to call my pants are on fire. That's the old version of me. I used to wish I had a lot of what I have now. And materialistically, I have less than what I was in that lowest state. But I did wish I had a hot rockin' body, and I can tell you I have that. And my body's in the best shape and condition it's ever been my entire life. And I'm 45 years old when I'm recording this. I used to wish I was strong. Guess what? I love my body. I am so strong. Strong muscles, strong bones, amazing body. I used to wish I had energy. I have gobs of it now. Or I used to consume around 900 milligrams of caffeine a day. I didn't eat food until evening. I used caffeine to propel me through the day. Like, how horrible was that? It destroyed my thyroid and my nervous system. I use caffeine for energy. Food is energy, not caffeine. I used to wish I was more patient. And now I'm incredibly patient. There are things that happen that I'm like, oh, look at that. And I have a thought of, like, man, I could just scream in a fit of rage and be a total idiot right now. That's the old version. And it's fun to kind of have like this out of body experience and kind of get this sense of like, yeah, I could react to this, but I just don't want to use my energy that way. I'm conserving it to utilize it in a better way, in a way that's more loving, more compassionate, more understanding, and more fulfilling. So you see, you don't have to figure out what to do or how to do it. You know. You have it in you. You have this inner wisdom. You have this knowing. You don't need to go buy another book. You don't need to go buy another program. You don't need to buy a meal plan. You don't need to buy a workout plan. Instead of deciding what to do, right? Because that's what it ends up doing is it gives us the what and how, keeps us stuck. Like then we just get convoluted with, who's doing what and what's working and what's the fad and what now, and that just keeps you stuck. You already know what to do. You know how to do it. So it's a matter of really diving into how do you want to feel. And coming from that place, coming from that energy, coming from that state of mind, which is way more powerful. You'll have so much clarity and so much wisdom when you rise to how you want to feel. So how long has it been since you've been proud of yourself? Right? That is incredible energy right there. When you're proud of yourself, when you have this sense of being proud that you accomplished what you set out to achieve, and that can be so stupid small. It could be the smallest things in your day. And how will setting out and smashing your goal give you greater personal satisfaction? I guarantee you it will. And it's not questioning this, it's about trying it on for size. I mean, how long has it been since someone told you that they were proud of you? Who could you inspire to possibly change alongside you or after you? Again, it's not about telling people that they should do it with you, because honestly, that to me creates a barrier or a challenge down the road, because you're setting yourself up for another human being flaking out and then giving you an excuse to flake out as well. So this is about you. It's not about anybody else. It's about inspiring someone else to change when they're ready, when they reach that momentum phase and say, you know what, this person's inspired me. I want to change too. And are there people in your life that you want to make proud? I think we all have that, don't we? Maybe there's people in your life that you want to see find their own happiness and have a more enriching life. You see, when I took care of myself, when I prioritized myself, when I started on my journey and put myself number one, and I set out to figure out what happiness was for me, how do I define it, and how do I achieve it, capture it. I had two very young daughters. And granted, they were at the right perfect age. I think they were around 13 and probably 10, right in that area, or 11 and 14. They were at the perfect age. And they were watching my every move. They're at an age where they were really, really curious. And they're trying to discover themselves. And I mean, they still are too right now. They're in their 20s. But, they were figuring out themselves. But they were sponges. And they learned so much from me. And hopefully, if you and I get an opportunity, ask me to tell the story of how it started when they both were inclined and curious about going to the gym. It's a funny story. I won't share it with you here, but yeah, they both were deeply curious, wanting to know how to get their butt to look like my butt. Let's just put it that way. Anyways, it's a funny story, but definitely ask me about it. But you know what? What behaviors or actions do you have currently that others are mimicking or watching? Is that something to be proud of? You know, the habits you cultivate, the habits you experiment with and perfect in your daily life make up who you are. You know, right now, as you're watching or listening to this, you are an accumulation of all your habits and choices up until this point in your life. So the how is just showing up every day. This is what leads you to a good life. I know for a fact that my clients I have worked with, and you know, especially the ones that struggle with their weight, most, if not all of them, have habits they formed when they were kids. You know, some of them were never taught how to cook. Some of them never were taught or told, you know, what different foods do in your body. Right? There were some beliefs and stories and thoughts that were just not true. Like for me, I truly thought that every single meal needed to look a certain way. Right? Before I started my journey, I would tell you almost every single meal that I cooked had 1 to 3 sticks of butter in it. I thought food had to taste like rich and creamy and savory and sweet, and I just had this belief that things needed to be a certain way. I believed that food was the way to a person's heart. I believed that food was my language of love. Isn't that twisted though to think about that? Food is the way to the heart, but truly it damages the heart if you do it wrong. So beliefs and habits can be toxic. And a lot of times when I work with weight loss clients, we don't even talk about what they put in their mouth or what they exercise they perform or don't do or whatever for months. We have a lot of other groundwork and foundation that we work through first. But you know, beliefs and habits are often formed when we're kids. So what beliefs and habits are you showing to your family? Right? Oftentimes my clients tell me, well, this is all I know. This is what I saw. This is what I believe. This is how it was when I grew up. We ate macaroni and cheese for dinner. We ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We ate grilled cheese. So who could you inspire by doing more for yourself? Putting your oxygen mask on first. Who can you influence? How will accomplishing what you want, how will it increase your happiness, confidence, self-esteem? How will it propel you into the next level of your journey? Because I believe our life is like a book. Like it's just like the next chapter, the next chapter. And sometimes chapters are long. Sometimes some chapters have the hero's journey, right? Where you fully fall on your face and have to like brush yourself off and recover. But how can you make space in your daily life for what you want in your life? Oftentimes, a lot of clients come to me and they just have so much going on, so much on their plate. And they want to add one more thing. So I want to encourage you to clear out the clutter. Got to remove something before putting something on the plate. You've got to prune those hedges to get new branches. Because doing more is going to create overwhelm down the road. So it's prioritizing. Okay? So this was the The how, a little twist on the how. I know you were probably wanting like a 12-step program, a 12-step meal plan, a 12-step exercise program. Well, those things are useless if you're not going to follow through with them. You know what needs to be done. It's a matter of starting small. It's a matter of having someone hold you accountable, walk with you, navigate each and every single challenge, whatever that is. It's super unique to you. It's interesting to me. Like a client will hire me for, again, weight loss, and it'll be months before we talk about what they put in their mouth. Because when we work on everything one at a time, the thing that's the most itchiest, the thing that's most challenging, the thing that's most stressful, the thing that's most frustrating, and keep knocking them off the list, it opens up more energy, it opens up more possibility in their life. They see what needs to be done, cleaning off the plate, clearing out the clutter, removing the old branches to allow for the new branches. I want you to comment below and let me know what are some other benefits that come to mind after hearing what I have to say. How can you inspire? How can you influence people? Set an example. And what do you envision doing after you achieve this milestone, this goal? What do you want next in your life? Looking forward, facing forward, really projecting yourself out there. And what are the great, amazing benefits to you and the people that you love in your life when you set out to achieve what you're wanting to achieve? That's the how. All right. I look forward to your comments down below. Talk to you soon.